Well, all right. We've got a very special guest today on the Hellion Rocks, the legendary Nick Menza. Nick, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, excellent. You know, I know most people know you from being the drummer in Megadeth and during the actual kick-ass years of Megadeth, but you've got some new stuff coming out on your own. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I got a couple things in the works right now. I put a solo record out in like 2002 just on my website that was just for the yahoo of it, really. I didn't have a record deal or anything. I just sold it on the website. And I got a couple projects going right now that I'm working with some other bands, doing producing, engineering, whatever I can do, really. I don't know if people realize how screwed up the music business has become in the past, 15 years, whatever, with the internet and just not being, bands don't sell records like they used to. You could sell 1 million records after putting a record out, and now bands are lucky if they sell 100,000 records. So it's a totally different business. Really, it's changed so much, So I'm trying to do anything I can musically. Yep.
Right. It makes it so hard that the industry came in and, they genred everything. They, neoclassical, post-thrash, blah, 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 but they put a label on it and tried to sell it. And
it's all rock. It's all rock music, no matter what you do.
Exactly. I know you grew up in a musical house and you were exposed to a lot of different types of music, so I would assume that you are a true music lover, that, no genre.
I am. I lost focus there for a while playing with Megadeth because it got so grinding, day in, day out. We do like 300 shows a year, and can we have a day off now? And it's got to be a job, and I lost the love and the desire that was there in the beginning, Like people would chop their arm off to go and play with a band like that, and it's like, I almost did.
It gets that way,
I don't know. Go ahead.
I was going to say, when it becomes tedious and becomes a job, the passion kind of dies out for it, and you have to rediscover it.
Yep, and I did. It took me about 12 years after the fact to realize that the reason I played music in the first place is because I loved it and it was fun. And man, if it's not fun, then what are you doing it for, really?
Exactly. So, and I think that spirit has been lost. In fact, I've been talking to a lot of different people about that back in the 70s, in the early forms of rock and roll, people were doing it for the love of making music. It wasn't at the time, the commercialization and the industrialization of music hadn't really happened yet. So we were getting some phenomenal music made from the heart and soul. And, now we're getting a lot of cookie cutter stuff. And I think it's a sad state of affairs.
Yeah, and everything is so technologically advanced as far as studios and programs on the computer that you can make anybody sound, adequate. First off, you still got to come up with the idea and have a good song to put out there, but you got all these bands that are using samples and sampling this and sampling that and making songs out of it. It's like a lot of contrived music that doesn't have any energy in it. That's what I notice about some bands that are still out there playing right now that are very contrived, and it sounds like it's forced, and I can't listen to music like that. It makes me nervous, and I got to listen to the real thing and see the bands that there's very few left bands that can go out there and deliver a good concert live.
Right. And that leads me to another thing that I've been recently talked about is the fact that when you have a band that has a large back catalog and they try to make new music, I think it's hard for them to stay relevant in the current music scene. The people are there, they just want to hear the classic songs, and they're not driving any interest in the new music.
No, because they're afraid to change. A lot of bands can't change. Very few bands can stay to their original style and what they do and be okay with it in the end. You run out of ideas, you run out of the freshness, and like I said, the desire to want to be there. It's like I tell people all the time, they go, what advice do you have for upcoming musician band? I said, dude, you just got to want it. It's not about how good you are or any of that shit. It's about having good songs and how much do you desire to be in that place, you know. I desired it greatly. That's all I cared about. After I left the movie theater from seeing Song Remains the Same, I knew that that's what I wanted to do with my life. It was because of Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, that was the question I had for you was, growing up in a musical house, which you did, at what point in your life did you realize that's it, that's what I want to do? And that's very
Dude, I remember the day. I was like 14 years old, 13 years old, and I went to see Song Remains the Same in the movie theater at like a midnight showing, and I was totally blown away. I was a fan of Led Zeppelin anyways, but just after that just pushed it over the top for me, and then I was a total Zeppelin like fanatic. That to me was like the ultimate thing. I told my dad wanted to send me to Berklee School of Music in Boston when I graduated high school, and I said, Dad, please don't send me to Berklee. I had the most fear of that. It was like traumatizing to me, like, oh my God, he's going to send me to Berklee, I don't want to leave, I don't want to go. I want to play in a band, dude, I want to go on tour. He's like, man, that's make-believe. He goes, that ain't going to happen. Go and learn to read music and learn to write music and blah, blah, blah. I said, dude, I told my mom, I go, you got to tell Dad not to send me to Berklee. I can't go. I'll run away, I told her. Most kids would, die to go to Berklee. Like, dude, you're going to go to Berklee. That's rad, No, sorry, not for me. And I'm totally like a self-taught musician anyways. I'm mostly just playing the records when I was a kid, playing the Rush, playing the Zeppelin, playing the, all my favorite bands, and that's where I got to where I am today. Somehow I got through it all.
And you did a good job, I've got to say that, not just because I'm talking to you, but that particular lineup when you were with Megadeth did it for me, the
yeah, we were getting it. We were definitely
high
energy band, super high energy band, and super tight, and just, man, we did so many shows. I tell people, I go, I look at YouTube and I look at some of the videos of us playing live, and I have no recollection of that stuff because there were so many gigs that we did that just all meshed us together, and it's like, I see myself up there playing and everything, but it just doesn't have any memory in my mind of it, looking at it, I go, oh, yeah, that's a pretty good show we did there. And we did a lot of good shows.
Yeah.
Very rarely did we have a bad one, and it's like,
right.
You just become this fine-tuned machine that's like working every day. You're playing a show almost. How can you not get good, That was the best workout of all times, playing for an hour and a half, 45 minutes, an hour and 45 minutes every night, worked me out.
I think I caught you guys 4 times when you were still playing with them. And every time was spot on. I was like, these guys got it. It made for an excellent show.
Yeah, it was fun. I definitely enjoyed it, and I'm proud of the work I did with those guys. And who knows what's going to happen in the future? People ask me, go, dude, do you think you'll ever get back to Megadeth? Or, are you and Mustaine still talking? It's like, yeah, I'm cool with those guys, whatever. I don't talk to them that much, but you never know. There could be that phone call one day, and just when they start to die out and everything goes away, and they say, oh, I'm going to put together one tour. I'm not opposed to it. I can say, no, I would never go back to Megadeth, but for right now, I'm trying to just move forward and do as much stuff. Anything musical I can do is good, A lot of gigs I don't get because they go, oh, no, that guy from Megadeth? No, we don't want him. That's not what we're looking for. So that kind of bums me out in the sense of, why did you tell them I was from Megadeth? And they're like, why do they need to know that? If it's not that kind of band, dude, any music I play after Megadeth is easy.
Well, I was going to say that, you've got such a diverse background that I'm sure that, put you behind a kit and you could cover anything.
Oh, dude, I've been working with some of the guys from P-Funk, Sonny Cool, doing R&B stuff, and I've been doing, hip-hop. I've been doing anything having to do with music. I don't really care what it is. I don't particularly like rap and country and stuff like that, but I have been known to be on a couple of sessions, and I tell anybody, dude, if you're making money at music right now, you're doing something right. You're doing good, no matter what it is. If you like the music or not, it doesn't matter. It's still you're doing a music job, and that beats swinging a hammer or, using a paint roller and a scraper any day.
True. Well, one of the things that I remember growing up was you would listen to a rock station and you hear everything on that station from, like you said, ABBA to, to Parliament and all that, mixed in with Aerosmith and Kiss. And, I think people that listen to music back then developed a broader scope and a broader taste of music and really enjoyed the music more than just being pigeonholed. And I kind of got that feeling from you.
Yeah, definitely, most definitely. Well, you know what? It became so oversaturated as the years went on. There was so much music out there and so much payola and crap going on. The promoters in L.A. were the ones that started making bands buy their tickets in advance and then not care if you sell the tickets or not. If you want to play here on Friday night, you got to sell 300 tickets. So they would just buy out the tickets, and the promoter gets his money, he pays his bill, everybody's happy, and nobody shows up at the club for the bands, and they get to play on a Friday night. And that really screwed up the whole the ranks, like when you start out, you're not going to get a Friday night somewhere if nobody knows your band. You're going to have to play on like a Monday night or a Tuesday night at like 7 o'clock. And it was more about the bands that had some credibility could play on a Friday and Saturday night, and they had a little following. And those days are over, man. There's like no more like get in a band, get a following, go out and play all the clubs and, get a record deal and make a record and then go on tour. Those aren't the avenues to go down anymore. It's like totally, the business is completely flip-flopped, and it's like, yeah, I agree that you have to be out playing gigs every night if your band's going to be big and get successful, but it's not really cost-effective for guys that are just starting out and saying, hey, we're going to start a band. Oh, really? So what do you do for work? What job do you have? Because that's really, like I tell everybody, you know what? Music is my hobby, and I do it as a hobby. I've always done it as a hobby. And I never thought that I could make a living at that, Am I breaking up on you or what?
No, you're good, man. Everything's perfect.
Oh, okay. Sound like you were breaking up a little bit on this one. But, I'm just at the point now to where I'm just trying to do as much as I can. I got a band out of Croatia that I'm working with, Sofusia. They're like a metal band, and I'm doing a track with them on drums and maybe possibly producing their album. I don't know. They have a drummer as well, but they asked me to play on one of their songs, and they're a pretty tight band, pretty cool music. And
I read somewhere about that. How did you get hooked up with those guys?
Someone just contacted my cymbal company and said they wanted me to play on one of their tracks. They actually did a version of Hangar 18 on their last EP or whatever, and it was pretty good version of it. It sounded just like Megadeth pretty much. Nice. Like they nailed it, like note for note, and it's kind of funny listening to it. I was like, wow, sounds like they used the original tracks, the backing tracks. That's how tight it was. It was like nailed. So, yeah, I'm open and looking for stuff to do, and I got a little project that I'm working on right now called the Atomic Disintegrator, and it's all like my solo shit, whatever. I'm gonna get a band and stuff together and make a record. I worked out the songs pretty much like roughed out outlines of them, and then now I'm seeing who I can get to come play on it. Somebody that's like already known, or I might be looking for a singer. I don't know. So still up in the air with that. What's that?
You're going to take it on the road? You're going to take it on the road?
I could, The touring thing is not so in the forefront of my mind, like let's go on tour. But if I could get out on something that's already happening, like supporting a band that's already huge, like Lamb of God or somebody like that, that would be great. Those guys seem to be doing really good business right now.
Yeah, they're actually going to be coming here to New Mexico where I am. I'm going to try and get in and score an interview with those guys.
Yeah, they're awesome. Dan, I've seen them a few times live, and every time I've seen them, they're just crushed.
Yep.
High energy band.
Now, one of the other things about you that's coming in, you've got a book coming out, right?
That's right. It's called Mega Life.
Nice. How was that experience? Writing a book, how did you find that?
Well, actually, somebody contacted me. The guy who wrote it, J. Marshall Craig, he does a lot of books for other musicians and actors and stuff like that. And he's a really good writer, and he came to me and said, dude, let's put out a book, you know, your story and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, of my story? I go, how boring. Who's going to want to read that? He goes, no, man, I think you could have a really interesting book. He goes, I can help you out. So I did a little deal with him. He came to my house and stayed here for like almost a year, and I just babbled off everything I could think of, you know. He actually did a lot of research where he'd come to me and say, hey, dude, tell me about this. And I'm like, how do you know about that? And he goes, oh, I looked it up on the Internet. So he was triggering a lot of stuff that I forgot about, you know, and he'd say, hey, what about this and what about that? And then it would start triggering other things, and it's a funny book, dude. It's got, like, all kinds of funny stuff and sarcastic shit in there. And it's, you know, at first I thought, you know what, let's protect everyone and change the names. And they're still going to know who it is anyways, you know, no matter what. So there's not any kind of slagging going on in it where I'm, like, talking shit about people or, you know, that I'm trying to be vengeful or anything like that. It's all pretty much just facts and super things that happened on the road, you know, during shows, some of the massive shows that we did. You know, there is a whole section on government conspiracies and alien cover-ups and, you know, supernatural ongoings behind the scenes, but it's just something you got to read. It's funny. It's a good read.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to get in the Oprah book club. If Oprah likes it, I'm golden, you know.
Yeah, I seen, you know, you recently, you know, you kind of like came out of silence, and I've been pushing, telling everybody, check this out. It's really cool to see that, you know, you're coming back and making a presence and, you know, trying to get back involved. I think that's awesome, and you've got a lot of support. I've been paying attention to your page growing, the comments.
Yes, I'm blown away. I'm totally blown away by that the fans are there for me, and it's like it just kind of, it choked me up for a second when I was like, wow, I could look at all the hits I just got on that. And my manager was going, dude, he goes, my shit's blowing up over here from all the requests you're getting on there. And I said, that's awesome, right? And he goes, oh, yeah, because that's a good thing. So it's kind of like, you know, I always say everything happens for a reason in the way that it's supposed to, no matter how much you meddle in the affairs. But it just seems like the window of opportunity is opening back up again for me, and I'm kind of itching to do something. I've been doing stuff all along, but I haven't been trying to, like, promote anything. And one of my friends said to me a few months back, and he goes, dude, it's all about self-promotion and promoting yourself.
That's it.
And if you're not into doing that, then I understand that. But he goes, it's about reinventing yourself and finding out what you do and what you can do and what people want to see from you. And I'm like, wow, you know, it just kind of turned a light bulb on, went over my head, and went ding. Little bell went off, and I was like, okay. What can I do? What do I have to offer? You know, what can I say? What can I play? Where can I be? How can I fit in? So that's kind of where I'm at.
There.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, somebody said, oh, yeah, you've already made it, dude.
Yeah, you've done. When I told people I was going to interview Nick Menza, they're like, no way! I can't believe it. And, you know, the response.
Now, where did he come from? From under the Where Are They Now files.
Yeah, everybody's like stoked, and they're all geek, and a lot of my drummer friends are like, "Oh my God, really?" You know. So
yeah, I'm gonna go out and do a little. I'm gonna do like a small tour, doing some drum clinics around the U.S. and possibly in Europe. I don't know; those are still up in the air. I just locked in this other thing for South America that's going to be like this all-star jam band. Like there's a bunch of different players going to be in it. I don't know the exact dates, but I'll keep you posted on that and let you know. It's not that you're going to run out to South America to see it, but I'm sure it'll be on YouTube and shit.
Well, I got a lot of readers that you know, what you're talking about right now is I got 145 countries that read and listen to my blog and stuff. So there's a lot of people that are in that Central and South America that, you know, or read everything I put out. So, you know, I'll pass the word on to those guys down there. You know, you'll probably get mobbed.
Yeah, it's an all-star thing, and there's other players from other bands, and everybody does like 30 minutes, you know, of the songs that they pick, and all these other dudes from other bands, like Phil from Pantera is supposed to be there, and Joe Belladonna from Anthrax, and all these different singers, Max Cavalera, and it sounds like it's going to be fun. I don't know who the guitar players and the bass players are, but there's some other drummers as well, which I don't know who that is. I'm going to find all the details about it in a couple of days here. But
yeah, let me know. I'll definitely hype it up.
this is going to be like the first time I've gone out and done any kind of shows, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. That's going to be fun.
Very cool. One of the other things, I've got a fan question. They wanted to know how you feel about simple playing versus the technical progressive metal playing. I mean, do you prefer playing simple but rock steady beats versus the lightning blast beat kind of stuff, or what's your preference?
It depends on what the song is, really, or what the band is. Like a lot of bands are just out of control musically, and so the drummer is just left to go off. I mean, Megadeth for me was like an ultimate band artistically, because Mustaine was basically like, dude, just play whatever you want, just play the right thing, It wasn't about like overplay and there's really nothing that I'm doing in those albums that's any kind of groundbreaking, rediscovery of drums or drum playing. It's just about the pressure applied to what's being played, It's like every beat that I hit, I mash it as hard as I can, It's like every hit counts, and I tell guys that when I do clinics, I say, you know what? You got to apply the pressure to it. If you don't, and you're just there going through the mechanics of it, and it gets really stale and it's lame, Less is more, most definitely. But, I like the progressive stuff. I mean, right now, the bands that I'm listening to like Meshuggah, Opeth, Porcupine Tree, Gojira. I got a lot of heavy drumming albums that the drums are just insane on. And that's what I like. I like that kind of music, the more proggy, sort of like, hammering beats they raise your blood pressure and you have to stand up and start banging your head up and down. And that's it. Symphony X, they're just punk drummers. Those guys are all like hybrids of drumming for metal, because again, music is transcended into another level of all these melds of styles. Like Opeth is one of my favorite bands, and their drummer is sick drummer this guy is. He's not really a heavy metal drummer because he plays so technical and has so many different diverse styles going on throughout their music. And it's just, to me, that would be the ultimate fun band to play with, Opeth, If they ever change drummers, I'll definitely, hey guys, I want to play.
Nice. So we're talking to Nick Menza. Got a lot of new stuff coming out, a lot of good things in the works. We're definitely going to support what you got going on. Do you have any messages for the fans before we sign off here?
I just want to tell all the fans that they're awesome, and thanks for the support throughout the years, and it just blows me away that they're still out there wanting to see something or hear something from me. Thank you.
We here at the Hellion Rocks are going to continue to provide support for Nick and anything he's got going out. And, we're hoping to stay in touch with him and, maybe catch him on one of your drum clinics. We're going to definitely keep putting out your posts and sharing your information. You can count on us for anything you need. And it's been a great pleasure and an honor to speak with you. And I just want to thank you for the music you have made and the enjoyment you've given the people, like the listeners like myself and others. It's an honor.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Cool. Nick, we'll be talking to you soon, hopefully, and enjoy. And again, I'm looking forward to everything you're doing.